To cap off the racing day, but now Jake Lewis, is his job to go out there and try and win this race and win the championship.
Yeah, this is a perfect opportunity for him to kind of capitalize on Corey's bad luck, get a good start like he always does, and you know he's going to try to get his head down and get away and not get in a battle with the guys behind him.
Unfortunate for Corey Alexander, but now Ashton Yates, the rider that sits at second, the 22 Honda. Maybe the rider to look for. Can he put the pressure on Jake the Snake today and get that first win? Now it looks like they have the bike running, and now Corey's having to get back to the bike.
And what he's doing this for, if it does start, get back in the race, even though he's last, if there's a red flag.
Yeah, because, I mean, literally, if it's early and it's a red flag, nothing will be lost, and it's like it didn't even happen. But they're going to try and clean off that tire. Corey's going to at least be able to go out there. And, again, it's not just about the victory. If Travis Wyman has a good result, it could bump him out of second place, and that's everything he didn't want to see. So take it easy, get that heart rate down, and he's just got to hope something brings out a caution.
Yeah, he's going to just hope some bad luck for somebody else. Hurt for him probably early in the race, so it's a complete restart. But if not, he's not a lap down. If there's a red flag after a couple laps, he'll have to start last. Then he'll be able to work his way through the field.
And there would be a chance there, but right now it is not looking good for Corey Alexander. We'll follow up on him. But out in front, that's Jake Lewis, the 85 Altus Motorsports, a bike that took the championship last year with Cameron Peterson, is trying to go back-to-back this year with Jake Lewis, Ashton Yates, Stefano Mesa, the fastest lap that first time around. Mesa up into third. Watch out for the Mesa 37 if he smells blood. And he also knows that Jake may not want to push it too hard if he's trying to win that championship.
Yeah, I might think Jake just going to take the points. Stefano was fast yesterday. Quickest, one of the quickest in every session. Did a club race here this past weekend, so definitely got some time on this track.
And I believe he won that class. I don't know if it was the 600 or the 1,000 or maybe even both. There you see Ashton Yates sticking a nose in there. It's going to be a long race. There's still 14 laps to go.
I was telling you about that turn 4 there before that, how you just try to get a good run through there, get on the outside and put yourself in the perfect position into 5. You can see he's setting it up. Maybe look at it the next lap, but no, he goes for it.
Well, he went underneath. He went to see if Jake would set up. He didn't. But watch this. You said it's this right that never seems to end. And it's not just one continuous turn. It's kind of a multiple apex right turn.
Yeah, it's 3. And
look at that. He's trying to do an out to in, and he's going to guard that inside and give Yates nowhere to go.
Ashton's really looking for a way by.
Yeah. Hey, don't count out Danilo Lewis. We've seen him on the podium before. He's looking for his battle. It was a third, wasn't it, when we saw him, make the podium? He's up there pressuring. He's in fourth. That yellow bike. Golly, the new Honda is showing how fast it is in stock trim, relatively stock trim in the stock 1000s. And now Ashton Yates leads. We've seen him lead, or we've seen him up there before. We saw these two go at it back at the Ridge. Yates still looking for that first victory.
And Ashton's had some trouble this weekend with the bikes, missed a session.
Overheating, right?
Yeah.
And we couldn't really figure that out, and don't know if they figured, what the problem was. We saw him come in earlier in the qualifying session. It was not hot yesterday, and a bike's overheating when it's not hot. You would think some of the mapping, something's not right making that engine build heat. Listen to the sounds of those 1000s as they make their way around the New Jersey Motorsports Park. We've got road racing here about a couple of 100 yards away from us. There's a motocross track, and they're turning laps. It's all about motorsports this weekend at NJ.
Ashton Yates looks like he's trying to make a break for you. See, he's got the purple first sector. Looks like he has about a half a second lead on Jake.
Corey Alexander looks like they're working on his bike down there in the paddock. Michael, that's not good either way, and everything you didn't want to see is happening for Corey.
Oh, this is heartbreaking. This is absolutely heartbreaking. There are tears in Corey Alexander's eyes. They managed to get the bike fixed. I said to him very briefly before he sprinted off down the pit lane what happened. He said he just wouldn't start. The entire team sprinted down. They ran across the wall. They managed somehow to get it fired. Corey Alexander then set off to a rapturous applause. There's a couple of grandstands down here. Every single person in the grandstand was on their feet cheering and clapping for Corey Alexander. He's done one lap and he's come straight back in. The team are now working on the bike. Corey Alexander is sat down there absolutely distraught, and I'm sure you can appreciate in a normal circumstance, I'd be the first one to go and stick a microphone in his face. I'm not going to go anywhere near him in the situation. I don't think it's the right and appropriate thing to do. He is clearly distraught, but this team is intent on finding the problem and sending him back out. They've got a job to do today. The championship might be slipping through their fingers, guys, but they are determined that he will get back on track and maybe even set a fastest lap, but they are determined to find the problem, and if they can, he'll be back out on track.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, in memory of the 20th, you know, year since the attacks in 9/11, and he had that tribute bike and the home race for Hudson Valley. Everything just is. He's distraught down there. That's all you can say right now. We're on lap number 4 of 15. We hope Corey can get back out. He also has the Superbike Cup that he's trying to go back out there for a little bit later. So that's why they're really working on that bike. Or if there is a red flag, he might be able to rejoin.
Well, he's going to be a couple laps down, but also, like you said, the Superbike Cup, they want to make sure, try to get it fixed during this race so he can go out at least get one lap to make sure the bike's fixed.
So Ashton Yates, what a story this would be for the 22. The son of Aaron Yates, multi-time champion in AMA road racing. Ashton looking for that Stock 1000 victory. We had talked about it, documented it last year, made that move to Honda, but he didn't have this bike, didn't have the new bike. And we're like, come on, Honda, get one in the U.S. When he showed up here, that bike looked fast from the get-go, and we're seeing how fast it is here today in New Jersey.
And even for a guy that's missed a lot of time yesterday with the bike overheating to come out here and, you know, have about a 0.8 of a gap this last lap, but you can see Jake Lewis looks like he's kind of starting to get down in that low 23 range. You can already see just by the picture, he's brought back a couple tenths this lap.
Yates, Lewis, Mesa, your top 3. Andrew Lee up into 4th. Where did Lee start? Because he was nowhere near. And I know Rob Silva's working on the bike now. Yeah, he started on the inside of row 3. He started in 9th, and Andrew Lee up into 4th. We haven't talked about Andrew Lee today. This is a 2-time champion. Again, with the new crew chief, if they figure that bike out, he might be in 4th right there. You see the 14 in your picture. There's a guy who can move up through the field.
Yeah, he's coming through. That lap 2, Jake made a mistake there into 10. You can see now he's kind of faded back. Ashton this lap's probably going to pull out to about a second of a lead.
There you see the 2-time champion, Andrew Lee, the 14. Trying to get underneath Stefano Mesa, that hard right-hand turn. I mean, this is the hardest braking zone in it, or one of them that you can run it up under there, but you open yourself up for somebody getting around you, too.
And what about Mike Selby right there in 5th in the podium battle? He actually has the fastest lap of the race.
On the Mark Built Racing Yamaha out of West Orange, New Jersey. So he's trying to do it for the home state fans. He was quick in qualifying, qualified in 6th, I believe. Experience on this track, it's got to be, you know, invaluable, but you know, when he's not used to racing with these guys week in and week out, they're used to each other, but Selby shows up, and yes, he knows the track, but he's not used to racing against this many fast guys on this track.
And also this race being 15 laps, a lot of the club races aren't really that long as this. So it's going to be a little bit longer than he's used to, but you know, having all that track knowledge.
Ooh, man, we turned that cow into a lawnmower there for a second. That was the knee scraping on the grass on that inside. You see Lee, he's not one to follow in the tracks, and Mesa is, and he's trying to do something a little different each time.
And that's the thing at this track, difficult to pass. You got to start setting your passes up a couple corners early to make it.
And I think that's what Selby's doing right here. Watch the third rider in your picture. He's going to go underneath. He's got to pull up at least halfway, and they can maybe, you know, dictate the position. Selby goes underneath. He's more than half. Is he? Oh my goodness! He just went for the twofer and he got it, and that enabled Andrew Lee to go by. Stefano Mesa has to be angry right now. That was probably not expected to happen.
I don't think that he meant to get them both.
No.
I think he meant to pass Andrew. Got in a little bit deep and realized he was going to try to get both of them.
Yeah, he got in deep, all right. And unfortunately for Mesa, he was the benefactor of that. Watch what happens in the replay. The rider farthest to the left got one, but now he can't stop now. Mesa had to step it up, and literally he ran out of track, and it kind of ran him off the track. That's the one thing of having that foresight, though, Andrew Lee, and being that champion, is seeing that happen, knowing that good stuff is not going to happen, and now you see them two going at it again. Selby and that track experience that he has here is really paying off. He should know every passing opportunity here.
He does, and
look at how much.
Pretty aggressive as well.
Oh, yeah, well, that is definitely a case. Did you see how low, how that guarding line that Andrew Lee was taking right there underneath? Good drive out on the Kawasaki. Looks like they're pushing back Corey Alexander, engine 13 not doing, or 23 not doing well today. Hopefully we'll see him back for the Superbike Cup. We have 8 laps to go in this Stock 1000 race, where many of these guys have to re-rack, restack, and race against the best Honda Superbike riders. in the field. But Ashton Yates is leading this. Mike Selby has the fastest lap. He's back in third now. I believe he got by Andrew Lee. That's the case. And Danilo Lewis still right there knocking on the door on that yellow bike.
Yeah, Danilo's caught these guys, closed it right up for that podium battle. And it's going to get interesting. Still a lot of laps left.
Techville Racing Team machine of Danilo Lewis, the 94. You see him really running it up in there. But that's the case, and that's why I said Andrew wasn't playing follow the leader. If you get in the guy's tracks, you can't go anywhere. You need to do something slightly different than the guy in front of you.
And also for Danilo Lewis, he sees Mike pulling away a little bit. He doesn't want him to get too far in front.
It sure looked like Andrew Lee was fast from the start. He made some passes early on. He was aggressive. What goes through your mind as a rider? Is it a setup thing, or is anything like that things could get away from you as the laps click on here at the midway point?
Well, it depends. Maybe after the tire loses that first real strong grip that it has beginning of the race, maybe when that little part wears off, maybe you start sliding more than the others and run out of grip.
And some bikes and the way that they're set up are a little more aggressive on those tires than others. It looked like Jake Lewis is still within 1 second of Ashton Yates.
He actually closed it down that lap 3/10.
Yeah, he's right there. And Danilo Lewis with the pass. He gets by Andrew Lee. Selby just in front of him. Danilo sees a podium. Can he do it again just like he did last year? That gives you all the incentive. Roger, you can talk about top fives, but top three is a different world. You stand on that podium, you've done something special.
Especially for him and his team.
Super privateers.
Actually, for both of these guys, if one of those get on the podium is going to be a huge accomplishment.
Absolutely. But you talk about, Selby might not be running. I think he does maybe some endurance stuff too. So if he is one of those guys, but you're not at sprint pace usually on those endurance. You're trying to pace yourself for a while. These are sprints to the finish. I mean, you're going full tilt boogie the whole time.
And when you see your first, professional podium right there, you're going to find that extra motivation those last couple laps.
This is the highest level of American motorsports for motorcycle racing. MotoAmerica, the stock 1000's on track with 7 laps to go. Ashton Yates, the 22, leads Jake Lewis. Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, 1, 2, and 3. A Kawasaki in 4th. Danilo Lewis and Travis Wyman on the BMW, 5th and 6th. There you see Wyman in the background, that red bike, but there's a big gap in between him. I was looking at time to score, and we do see Danilo Lewis up into 4th. I think he's hanging on to Selby, isn't he? And speaking of hanging on, this is a case where, Jake's only 8 tenths behind, and he sees him there. Give him a little time, catch his breath. With about 3 laps to go, I think we're going to see a different Jake Lewis, don't you?
And some of these races we've seen Ashton kind of toward the front and toward the end kind of fade back a little bit, but he's looking really strong today.
The picture to the left, that's the Yates crew, the Jones Honda. They're looking for Ashton's first win here in Stock 1000. Can it be today? You got to be in front to finish in front. And he's doing just that right now on that Jones Honda, that 22.
And if you remember, he crashed at Brainerd in the Superbike race when he lost his brake pads.
Yes, had to get a new bike.
Destroyed the bike, bought a bike on Thursday before Pittsburgh, never sat on it before, and looks like he likes it pretty good.
Yeah, that bike and stock trim is strong, and of course they put their bits on it and make it even faster. And Jake Lewis is definitely closing in with 5 laps to go this next time around. He's going to be knocking on the door. Jake's not going to want to settle for second. He doesn't want to put that little feather in Ashton's hat. He does not want to let him get his first win in front of him.
No, last lap he was about a half a second quicker.
Yep. It's tough sometimes, though, Roger. I mean, you're the pro racer. You've been there. You've done it. You've seen it all. When you're out front and you're setting that pace, you're looking at that pit board. You're seeing that time, the differential between you and the guy behind you.
And also for Ashton, he doesn't have a ton of experience, leading a race with 5 laps to go with the guy behind you starting to close the gap. That definitely, your concentration, you're trying to keep the lead, study your pit board, but not make any mistakes.
And a former factory-supported rider in Jake Lewis, too, who has all the experience in the world, was racing Honda Superbike. Well, raced some last year, but, the year before last, he had a full-on ride. So he's a guy who has seen it. he's starting to close in now. I think he just kind of took a breath in that middle portion of the race and making sure he has some tires left. And if he's got them, I think he's going to really put the pressure on these last few laps.
This last part of the track is where it looks like Jake struggles. You can see he's right there. The first part of the track, Ashton made a mistake there, ran wide. Jake followed him wide as well. But you can see this part of the track seems like where Jake is struggling and Ashton's stronger.
Horsepower, let's see what they got for Jake. There's no inner ear communication. They have to do everything by pit board. Now they're working their way, the final turn, and down the front straightaway. Jake, you got 4 laps to go. Plus 33. What's that mean? Points?
I think it said plus 3.3.
Oh, was it? I was like, I don't know. Oh, that's for the gap behind him. Yeah, that means you can do anything you want. You're not going to have to worry about somebody sneaking up, creeping up on you. He's also trying to win a championship that he's about to clinch because he just finished this race in the points, and there's 17 guys circulating. You get points all the way down to 15th place. I mean, he beats 5 people. He's going to get enough to clinch the championship, unfortunately.
See how Jake looks like he closes up the first part of the track, and then after this, when they head into turn 6 and 7, seems like where Ashton starts to kind of build that gap back up.
When I was saying I didn't mean unfortunately he could wrap up that race, but unfortunately for Corey Alexander, he wasn't able to race today. Couldn't get the bike fired up on the line. Then they did, and then still having some issues. We'll hope to see him in the Superbike Cup portion of the Hono Superbike race later. 5 races today. Starting off with the Stock 1000, still have Super Sport, Superbike, Juniors, and Twins Cup. A couple of championships could be decided today, but not all. Jake Lewis doing everything he can. Again, with a 20-point advantage coming into this. Right now, he get an extra 20 points for second place even. With 40-point advantage going in the last round, only 25 available. That would be the championship. Danilo Lewis lost touch from the 514. Selby able to pull away. Again, this is a guy riding out of West Orange, New Jersey on that Yamaha R1 Mark Built Racing entry. A local rider. Danilo Lewis just not quite able to make up ground on him with a couple of laps to go. You see Selby all by his lonesome. You do see Jake Lewis still on the rear fender of Ashton Yates. And the thing is with Aaron Yates in the pits and the paddock, and he's seen it all and done it all. You can offer that information, those thought process. Now it's time for his son to learn what it's like to close out your first victory in Stock 1000. What is it like? What was it like for you that very first time? What was going through your brain these final few laps?
Well, just trying to hit my marks, not make any mistakes, still, do a good lap time. And the thing is, you don't want to make a mistake and open the door, but you don't want to ride too defensive and be too slow.
Yeah, oftentimes you get defensive, you get choppy, and that's when the smooth guy behind you just really goes by without even putting as much effort into it, because it's about you racing. If you go out there and show how fast you've been going the first half of the race, you do that in the back half, you're probably going to win. If he starts thinking about that guy behind him all the time and takes different lines, he may not win.
And so far, Ashton's rode a great race. He hasn't put a wheel wrong yet.
No. There's turn 1. Got 2 laps to go. Next time around, they're going to get a white flag. You see that differential? It's only 2/10. That's nothing.
It's the closest Jake's been. See how he catches him through this part of the track. This might be a lap where he tries to get a good run, and this next right-hander putting him on the left side for turn 5.
Yeah, you said 5 and 1 are the 2 places. It's not going to happen probably this time. But so now you look at 1 as you go to get the white flag.
He looked at it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was getting that feel, wasn't he?
Next lap, I think if he's that close, lappers could play part of this as well.
Ooh, might not even make it through the carousel at this rate. Well, it looked a little closer when you're looking at him straight on.
But
great
Jake
camera
just
shots.
Can't let him pull that gap that he does this last part of the track if he wants to be close enough on turn 5, the last lap.
And there's only a couple of opportunities to really push and make those passes. The really coming onto that front straightaway, you need to get the hard drive. It looks like a little bit of protection from Ashton Yates that time. You see the rider just behind, Jake Lewis, is looking for a mistake. And look at it, he's going to get the drive.
He was a little bit wide there.
He's going to get that drive as they come down the front straightaway. You can tell he's just kind of giving him a little bit of a gap. Now watch the second bike. See if he can get in that draft coming down the front straightaway. That Honda's fast. Suzuki's going to try and do it. Can he close in or can Yates pull away? The white flag is out. 1 lap to go in stock 1000. There goes Jake Lewis to the inside. Push hard, Ashton Yates. The first time we see Jake Lewis not out in front.
Can he hold it?
Yes. Oh, the first time we've seen Yates not out in front in a long time. Now, will we see a pass out of Yates? We know 4 and 5. That's where you need to really set him up. You're not going to get to go to 1 again.
And you can tell where Jake, a little bit stronger, that part of the track, kind of got a little bit of a gap. I don't think Ashton's close enough to make the pass into 5.
No, not going to happen here. Going to have to
Jake
do some.
Blocked.
Yep. He went very inside. Now, if you're Ashton, you swing a little wider and run the more racing line. You couldn't get a good drive in this section, but what are you taught as a racer? Don't give up your inside usually. Make them go the long way around you. You're probably going to see Jake go a little lower than normal here. This right-hand turn, it just sweeps all around.
You'll see Jake staying pretty tight. You see that, not going to let him get a run on him.
Yeah, if you're going past you, make him go the long way around, right? All right, there's one more chance. Get a good run. If Jake blocks, get your racing line if you're Ashton Yates. Try and get a good drive coming out of these last couple of corners and down the front straight. It ain't happening. That Alta Suzuki just picked it up and said, I'm gone. Right-hander in front of him. Not only does he take the win, he's going to take the championship here in New Jersey. Jake Lewis with a victory here in New Jersey to wrap up his season. Ashton Yates, Mike Selpe on the Yamaha in third, rounding out the podium. There's still one race to go at Barber, but the championship has just been decided.
You have to feel a little bit for Ashton Yates. He rode such a good race.
Look at Selpe in the background. You forget about the guy that's in third that just did something. Look at him. He's in your third. That has to feel almost equally as special for him. I saw him just shaking his head like, I did it. You got to find your victories. His victory was third today.
It had to be. If you would have told him that before the weekend he was going to get top 3, I think might not have believed it, but he earned it too. Rode a great race. His lap times were fast and put it on the podium.
Ashton Yates started the year with a second place. He's going to finish in second place again today. Still looking for that first win. They're going to go back and they're going to watch that video. What else could he have done, or did Jake just have him and was waiting till the end? Because he definitely backed off in that middle portion and was trying to identify what Yates was doing. And that's why I was really kind of hoping for Yates' sake. He was able to get a good drive coming to that front straightaway. But you saw how much of a lunge that Suzuki got. And
Jake's got some experience. He's been a factory superbike rider before. Been in stock for a while and rode superbike as well. So he definitely has, for a young guy, has a lot of races under his belt.
Danilo Lewis close, but no cigar for him. Finishes fourth. Travis Wyman up to fifth. That a good run by him, working his way through. And here it is, the pass for the lead.
You see just on the brakes in the turn 1, Jake just lets off the brakes just a little bit. All you have to be is just a little bit in front. You control the corner. The tricky part is not running wide or let Ashton run under him, but he held a nice tight line.
Yeah, he pushed wide, and then they were coming down. That was to take the checkered flag, and now just Motorsports goes back-to-back in stock 1000. See the Choctaw Indians on the top of the street. They need to go hit the casino in Oklahoma. They got a little money to play with going to that last round. Good run.
It's cool to see when the teams are that excited, because those mechanics and all the people on the team put in so much work.
Yeah. He's one of your buddies, and it's hard to see one of your friends not have that opportunity, not have the ride, and that ride opened up when Cam Peterson went to the M4 X-Star Suzuki ride in the Honda Superbike. They offered him, that opportunity, and you see Chris Ulrich there, the technical partners with them. It's kind of a win for them as well. That Suzuki did look fast.
And also, too, we talk about it all the time, it's that silly season.
Yeah. What's next for him? Is that the next M4 guy? I mean, there's no guaranteed rides for next year, are there?
And, I'm sure Jake's happy where he's at. I know he loves his team. They all work well together, but I think eventually he'd like to see himself back in Superbike.
Yes, he would. Jason Pridmore down there offering his congratulations. Jake Lewis, Ashton Yates, Selpe are on the podium. Danilo with another strong finish, so close to the podium. Wyman, Andrew Lee drops back to 6. Mark Heckel, Stefano Mesa, Michael Gilbert. He's just been struggling with that bike this weekend, trying to find something, but that is not the mustache we're used to seeing out there in the top 5. Going to finish 9th here today And a look at our Geico results. The green grass of New Jersey here in the lowlands, the southern part. Congratulations goes to the Altus Motorsports. Do they have a bib for him? The championship bib.